do you think about the draw generally before we go every game by game, bro? Like what? As a Chelsea fan, how did you take that news? Because I woke up in the morning and I saw that shit and I was like, fuck. I wasn't like super, worried, but I'm like, if I had to, I'll pick anyone else because we spoke a little briefly about that before we start shooting and I told you, Nago, that this is kind of the team that knows how to beat Chelsea because we know how to lose these kind of teams. We will control the ball, we'll take our chances, or we'll miss our chances, or we'll create chances, miss it, and then we'll get countered, or a corner kick set piece, someone will be, in a blue moon, kind of dreaming a little bit, one of our defenders or something, and then boom. And you're not going to get that goal back from Atletico because Liverpool even couldn't do it. Liverpool, it's probably a better attacking team than us still because we're in progress. What do you think about this shit? I'm kind of, I don't know, man.
I completely agree. Atletico is probably like one of the top 2 or 3 teams I want to know part of in this first round.
Even though they're not doing great, I mean, the La Liga, they're doing great, but if you watch them in the Champions League, they're always boring. We know that. But they're even more boring than their normal boring. They don't score much goals at all. Bayern Munich gave them like a 4-5 beating or 5-1 beating in the first game. They couldn't beat Salzburg in both games. I think they won 1 out of the 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But even if they won the 2 against Salzburg, they just weren't convincing. Against Lokomotiv Moscow, they weren't convincing. But that's that kind of Atletico Madrid. They kind of suck against weaker teams. They come up, they show up against teams like us.
they have a similar issue that we have, which is they play to their competition, right? And maybe it's a lack of taking them serious, or maybe it's just a combination of, that's their style, right? They're not going to play an attractive brand, even though they have players capable of doing it.
And all, but
they're going to defend in tight
don't want to play him.
Oh, God, no. And I mean, even though he's getting up there in age, Luis Suarez is still a dangerous motherfucker.
Of course.
And you don't put anything past them. They have other attacking players that can bring you some issues. Even though one of them looks like he might have fallen out with Simeone, the young Portuguese kid Felix. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's everything for them. He scores all the Champions League goals.
So
I mean, they don't score. Nobody scores but him.
Yeah, it looked like they had got into a little bit of a disagreement on the touchline when he got subbed out in their loss against Real Madrid.
Oh really? I'm gonna look into that. I didn't really notice at all. But I know Simeone is a rough dude. But I also know that he can't do it without him. I mean, he's their biggest investment ever, other than the stadium, right? The new stadium. But
some of it's realistically probably just
it's normal though. But that happens in soccer all the time.
Makes a story. They need something to draw people's attention, and there'll be something else within a matter of 15 minutes.
You gotta be upset when you get subbed out. I mean, it's a normal, natural feeling. And actually, I would be worried if I see one of my my teammates or one of the players that play for the club that I like and going up like he doesn't care. I mean, you'd be like, oh, damn, what's going on with you, man? Are you moving or what?
No player wants to come off the field.
So I think that's normal, normal friction, soccer friction. So I wouldn't, look into that too much. But like I said, since we started with this game, what do you think? Prediction on that game, bro?
The first game is going to be crucial. If
we don't know still, or do we?
I don't know if you know the home away just yet.
Do we know the home away, Monte?
But what I would say is the last thing we want is
to go to Stamford Bridge in the second leg.
Yeah, honestly,
because that's what he did to Liverpool.
I would rather play them at home first, pick up a result, so that we
1-0.
Exactly, so that we know going into it. Honestly,
or even 0-0, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'll take it. And then you go out there, man, see whatever happens.
Even if it's 1-1, I mean, obviously we don't want to concede away goals, I know, but I would be willing. I would rather go to Spain with just we win and we're in type of situation than go and having to chase a game. We can't go chasing a game.
You go to Spain 1-1, you'll be chasing the game, and they're the best at it to let you chase your shadows, and they'll probably score another goal and need to kill the game the way they did Liverpool. But except they actually did it in Anfield. They beat them like 3-2. You know what I mean? Llorente kind of stole 2 goals at the end. So it's a worrisome matchup. I would say we're gonna win this one, bro. It's gonna be a tough one, and we need a lot of luck. We need a lot of work and tactics from Frank Lampard. I don't think we need to chase the game too much, even when it's 0-0. Let them feel like they're better than us a bit. Let them feel like they have, because realistically, for the last 5 years they've been better than Chelsea. In Europe at least. So give them that feeling. Give them the ball. Let them kind of come out. Let them feel, oh, miss a chance here. They're our corner. Let them feel the game a bit, and then you fucking strike them.
Here's the thing, though, and this is the toughest thing when it comes to the Champions League. We're talking about games at the end of February. So there's a lot of games that's going to happen in between. As you know, Chelsea's got some injury issues right now, so if we were to walk in and say we're playing these games tomorrow, I would be extremely concerned. If we go into it and we're fully healthy and we're firing on all cylinders, talk to me then.
It's hard to predict now because obviously 2 months and a half away from the games, but well, that's Chelsea. We'll probably dive into that again and again before February pops. But what else do we have, man? You like that matchup, do you? The Liverpool matchup.
I love that matchup. That is one I definitely want to keep
Liverpool
an eye
Leipzig.
on. It's going to be a high energy game. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth. I want to say Klopp famously said, if Pep is a composer, then consider me heavy metal. You take that and you take the way that Leipzig plays, and it is going to be a lot of counter pressing.
There's something off about Liverpool. Do you feel that way?
I mean, they're obviously hurting at the back right now. Whenever you lose a player of Van Dijk's capabilities, you're going to be stinging, and their center backs were always a little suspect.
But also scoring wise, they're not as prolific as they were the last couple of years.
I
mean, Mo Salah's records are still pretty good. Sadio Mane, obviously.
Jota's been amazing for them.
Jota's a great addition because Roberto Firmino he just doesn't score. He might as well just play CDM now.
Yeah, but see, Bobby doesn't need to score. See, what Bobby does for them is invaluable. And what he brings is a lot of movement. And whether he's dropping into the midfield, whether he's dragging out wide to pull a center back, whether it's out to the left or to the right, so that Mane or Salah can cut in onto their preferred foot as an inverted winger.
Yeah.
His movement is probably more important than anything. And while Jota brings some of that movement too, he's not going to
Jota's almost like a hybrid version of Salah, Mane, and Firmino put together.
Yeah.
If you kind of just blend them in, the three of them, you kind of get Jota because he's fast just like Salah. A little more physical. He's obviously not Sadio Mane physical, but
technical.
But very technical as well. Like it's rare to find like that quick, very quick. He's a very quick player. And he also finishes very well. He'll finish it left, right. He'll put it.
I was very surprised when I saw that Wolves sold him to Liverpool. To be honest, I was shocked.
The right feet because they made the fucking biggest mistake and they went to buy Nelson Semedo, folks. Nelson Semedo from Barcelona. This guy is a fraud. I'm telling it right here on that show. This guy's a fraud. He doesn't know how to play.
But they lost, and when they lost Doherty to Tottenham, so it was one of those things that like they needed a replacement. They couldn't go in with a kid. And
when they lost the Doherty? No, I agree.
Plus he's Portuguese. Nuno loves bringing in Portuguese players.
But here's the thing. He's from Barcelona, so he's got a price tag, right?
Yeah.
And Alphonso Davies, the young Canadian, put this guy to bed in Barcelona. Now, I didn't think much of that. Things happen in soccer. You might have that off day. It was an off day for the whole team from Barcelona, so we get that. I'm not gonna hold it against them. But I've watched them. We're now in mid-December, bro. The damn league started in September or something like that, and so I've seen enough of Wolves, and I like the team because I really do like and appreciate Raúl Jiménez. Really, really good player. He's fantastic in the Premier League.
Hopefully he's alright too.
Hopefully he's alright because he's got a really, really bad concussion. It was an unfortunate David Luiz kind of, David Luiz, man. This guy is just trouble, bro. I'm coming to Chelsea, man. Hey, how did you feel when Arsenal bought David Luiz off topic real quick? Because I was like celebrating because I want that motherfucker out.
So
he scares me, bro.
A combination of feelings, It's Arsenal, so you never want to sell anybody to Arsenal.
I'd rather give him to Arsenal because he's gonna tank.
And yeah, Agent Luiz, man.
And then we give him William too.
That I was fine with. With Luiz, I've always loved Luiz as a center back. I love what he brought to the field. He was special with the ball at his feet, but he was a little erratic and outside of the 3-back line.
Outside of the 3-back line, you're
just
suicidal.
You just can't play him in a back four. But he was brilliant with the ball. And he had those games where he was just an absolute monster defensively, and then you had those games where you're just like, what the fuck?
Yes. What were you thinking, bro? Yeah, exactly.
Mixed emotions, both good and bad. Willen, I was happy with though.
I appreciate Willen. I respect him.
He's done a great service to the club.
Yes.
He's done good things for us. but he's lacking in the attacking third, and his work rate, while great, just doesn't do enough for me. And at his age, there's no way we could give him a 3-year contract. We already broke our rules to give him a 2-year contract,
Which was good.
and he's
served
only
us.
and he's only the second player that we've ever been willing
John
to
Terry,
break
I
the
believe,
rules.
was the first. No?
No, Agent Louise. We gave him a 2-year deal and then immediately turned around and sold him to Arsenal because he didn't like that he was going to have to fight
John
for a
Terry
spot.
only did one.
John Terry only got one. Frank Lampard, our current coach, only got one.
Sure.
I mean, it's one of those.
But also times are different, and you gotta remember we had a ban. So also based on that, sometimes you gotta make a little bit radical decisions. But going back to the matchup of Liverpool, what would you say? So we knew it's going to be one hell of a game, probably a lot of goals. I'm really fond of Angelino on the left of Leipzig, really good player.
The Croatian kid,
Which
Olmo?
one? Danny Olmo is Spanish.
Yeah. Is he Spanish?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Danny Olmo is really good talent. This guy.
He came up through Zagreb, though, right?
He probably played in Zagreb. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but I think you're right. But I know he's Spanish for sure.
Okay.
Because they got him now in the national team and you already set him up. So he's definitely a lot of talent, more on the slow type of player, tactician, kind of, a lot of technical. But he plays in the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga's, a lot of running in that league.
I mean, so did Kai Havertz, but,
We'll talk about Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz actually has a bigger potential than Daniel Olmo. Kai Havertz is a very special player, but he's still very young, and it's hard to kind of grasp what he's gonna be. But I do want to talk about the German duo of Chelsea, and a little bit after we're done with that draw. So I said Chelsea was gonna beat Atletico Madrid somehow, some way. I'm not gonna say the scores. Maybe in another episode we'll give it a shot on the scores. But let's say who's gonna come out of that one. What do you think, Chelsea or Atletico Madrid? And don't go with your heart. If you feel like Atletico's gonna fucking nick it, then all right.
My heart says Chelsea, my head says Atletico.
Yeah, your head. So you think
my head says Atletico,
okay, so,
but I also think it's like I said. We're looking at a lot of time here. Injuries. Pulisic gets healthy.
We'll revise it again, maybe in another episode.
Healthy.
What would you say now, Atletico or Chelsea?
In this moment, I would say Atletico's going to be us.
Okay. Liverpool, Leipzig. Who would you pick?
I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Leipzig. I think they're going to surprise Liverpool.
Okay, that's fucking crazy, but fine. I would say Liverpool. Probably eventually just nick it, and especially if Virgil van Dijk is back. And I know for a fact they're not going to take the league this year. I think they're going to probably struggle in the Premier League. So I think they might have a really good run in the Champions League, but that's not a thing. On to the next one. Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Manchester City. Easy one. City. By the way, Gladbach is a very good team. A lot of good players, a lot of good young players, but they're not going to beat City. This one should be easy as well. Bayern Munich, Lazio.
Yeah, I mean, Bayern are just crushing it.
What do you think of that Lazio team?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Italian teams. They leave me wanting, and I kind of have a similar issue with a lot of the Italian teams that I do with a lot of the German teams, as they're basically feeders for Juventus or for Bayern. I don't see them, and when you're facing a team like Bayern, realistically, Bayern's been making everybody look foolish.
True, I agree. I mean, I'll be a madman to go with Lazio on that one, but no, it's Bayern Munich for sure. Next is Porto Juventus. Now keep in mind, before you even make up your mind right there, here's a good stat for you. FC Porto have only conceded goals in the first game. So there's 6 games in the group stage, right? We've only conceded in the first one against City. I think City beat them 2-1 or 3-1, I can't remember. And that's also the only game that City conceded. So that one goal that Porto scored, and how many goals City scored in Porto in that first game, both of them have not conceded anymore. Now, given the group was a little bit easy, they had Olympiacos and Marseille from France, but still, not conceding is a big thing, no?
For me, and don't get me wrong, I think they're a good team. I think they could give a lot of different teams issues, and with a better matchup, I think they go through. In a hypothetical world, if you had Porto versus a team like Lazio, I would have Porto going through. But I'm just going to have to take Juventus here, even though I'm not quite sold on Pirlo as a coach. I think Juventus just has enough star power in Ronaldo. I think they have enough complementary pieces, whether it's the engine room of their midfield. I love Weston McKennie. I think he'll be a handful for them to deal with. And I think there's too much talent at Juventus. It's ultimately going to win out over 2 games.
You know what? I 100% agree with what you said. Everything. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me just add this. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, because you guys know soccer is crazy. If somehow Porto was able to kind of make it and take it away from them, but it's a two-leg kind of game. I would have to still pick Juventus on that one. The next one will be probably everybody's favorite. It's the marquee matchup, Barcelona and PSG.
I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say Messi is going to lose, but at the same time, Barcelona is just in shambles right now.
Messi's going to lose, boys.
PSG should win this.
Yes, I agree, and I'm not going to even add too much to it, but I think Barcelona's in shambles. I think they'll probably fire, what's his face, Ronald Koeman before even February, before even that game. And I think they're in really big trouble. And Messi doesn't want to be there. You can tell by the way he plays. It's just, they're going to lose. Borussia Dortmund, Sevilla. That's an interesting matchup.
An interesting one. If Holland is back and playing, I'm taking BVB. If
I don't know about that.
you know,
I don't know. Sevilla's a fucking well-drilled team like no other.
They
They're kind of like the Atletico Madrid, but a younger brother of some sort.
They are, and they have dominated the Europa League for a few years. They're a very good team.
Yeah.
They're capable of giving all types of teams problems the way they play.
Yeah.
But Holland is just a special player. If he's healthy, if Sancho can regain his form from last year, and then obviously I have high hopes for Giovanni Reina. I think he's going to be a special player. And like I said, we're a few months out from when this is actually going to happen.
Of course, a lot of things can change, and like I said, we're probably gonna bring it up again before, more recent to the games, but. I don't know. I disagree. No, I think Sevilla will take that one, regardless of Haaland there or not. I think Sevilla is just well drilled over 2 legs to probably choke Dortmund out and nick it. That other one is really interesting. We also talked about it a little bit before we start filming. Real Madrid, Atlanta.
So this is one of those ones too where I feel like Real Madrid's talent is probably going to win out. But at the same time, Atlanta's a dangerous team. I mean, they play a beautiful, beautiful attacking style, but they're also susceptible defensively. Real Madrid, I think they just have too much star power and end up winning out.
It's hard for me to tell.
I'll be pulling for Atlanta.
Same here. I like Atlanta. We always like underdogs, me and Daniel. That's what we do. But Real Madrid depends which Real Madrid would show up. If they're going to show up like the way they showed up against Shakhtar, thinking they already won the game before they start the game, not going to run as much because they feel like they're always better, then you know what? The soccer gods don't like that shit. They'll put the table on your ass right there and then. So it all depends. But if they're going to take it seriously, they'll probably just blow them out of the water. They'll probably, from the first game, maybe 3-1 or 3-0, and it'll be a tough one from there.
This is a game that I think the first game is ultimately going to decide the series.